a BLT sandwich, but just regular bacon, lettuce and tomatoes get a twist when I'm making it. So I've just got a little bit of olive oil in the pan, and now I'm just kind of grilling these tomatoes in this pan. I want to get the maximum flavor out of them. Usually you'll always use tomatoes raw just as is, but I just want to add that little added dimension of cooked, slightly charred tomatoes. Yum! So the tomatoes are looking lovely, and now I'm going to cook the bacon. You can do this in the oven, but I'm going to do this in the frying pan. It's just easier this way. I don't need to put on the oven right now. Okay, so just spread the oil around, and now it's time to fry up the bacon. I've got very little oil in the pan because, you want to hear that sizzle. Only you could smell this right now. So the ones that are nice and crisp, I'm just going to put it on this paper towel to drain. There's a lot of fat in that pan. But it's also flavor. Fat is flavor. Now all we have to do is just put together this sandwich. We've got some mayo here. You don't need too much. I'm just going to spread this on the bread. And what I really like adding to it is just a dash of Worcester sauce. And no more. Otherwise, it's just going to overpower all the other flavors of the bacon especially. This way, it just complements the flavor. Okay. So now, spread this on the bread. And what makes all the difference when you're making a sandwich is the bread that you've got. Try to get the freshest possible bread. And I'm making it as is. If you like, you can toast this bread, you can grill it. It's nice any which way. It's just such a classic sandwich. Now the first layer is of lettuce. I always like to leave the stalk out. The tomatoes, and that's it. This is just as simple as that. There's not too much going on here, but just these few ingredients are going to give us so much flavor. And at this point, just sprinkle on some salt and pepper. And now I'm going to put the bacon. This is a bit enough for me. And that is your BLT sandwich to go. Hi guys, welcome to my recipe book with me, Tarika. If you've never made a risotto just because of how time consuming it is and because you probably have to constantly keep stirring it, you're going to love my version for a baked risotto. It's a bit of a cheats recipe, but I'm making my favorite flavor combination, which is a mushroom and leek version. So I'm going to start with greasing the pan in which I'm going to bake this risotto. And you should grease it only with butter. Don't try greasing it with oil. Oil isn't really ideal for this. Butter is important. Just make sure you've greased it properly and just covered the pan from the inside completely with this butter. And that's it. So we're done with the greasing and we can now move on to the recipe. Just set it aside. And now we're going to start cooking. I'm going to get about a tablespoon of olive oil in this pan. So it's the sort of recipe that we start in the pan, but we'll finish off in the oven, and that's what makes it slightly stress-free. I'm going to add about 1 garlic only that's been finely minced up. The garlic's pretty fragrant already, and I'm just going to add leeks. This is the equivalent of about 1/3 of a cup. The leeks have been cut into half moons. I'm just going to saute it. I just want these leeks to soften slightly, and in the meantime, I'm just going to cut up some mushrooms. This is about 150 grams of mushrooms. It'll seem like a lot now when I'm cutting it, But trust me, when I cook it up, it won't seem like a lot. It would have shrunk considerably. So the leeks are cooking really well. They just need to get slightly softer, and then I'll add the mushrooms. So now the leeks are getting soft just the way I want them. So I'm just going to keep adding the mushrooms as I chop them up. These mushrooms, I want them to release their water and cook down a bit. So the mushrooms have cooked down considerably. I'm just going to add the rest of the seasonings now. Mushrooms and thyme are just such a great combination. You can't really go wrong with it. So I'm using a teaspoon of dried thyme. Guys, I only ever need a reason to add some chili flakes. Now to this, very quickly, I'm just going to add the arborio rice, which is the traditional rice for risotto. This is 3/4 of a cup. And I'm just coating it in all the flavors of the pan. It's not going to cook in the pan. Remember, I promised you this is a baked risotto. So this is going to go into the oven. I just wanted to get some of the flavors from here. Time to season a little bit more. Some pepper. Just mix that together. And I'm going to add just the tiniest possible pinch of sea salt. You can use regular salt as well, because there's going to be plenty of salt in the stock that we use and the parmesan. So that's nice and toasted. That's what I've done. I've just toasted the rice and coated it in all of these flavors. Just turn that off and take it off the heat. Okay, so once this rice has cooled slightly, just put it in this pan that's all greased and prepared. You know, I haven't used any wine in this recipe. You can, of course, use wine if that's what you like, and if you like your risotto like that. The best time to do it would be when the rice was in the pan. Add about half a cup of white wine and then let it reduce and get absorbed by the rice completely before you toss the rice here. And then, of course, you'll have to adjust it against the quantity of the stock. Instead of the 3 cups that I'm using, you'd have to use about 2.5 cups. But I'm not going with any wine here, but I don't think you'll mind that difference. To this rice, I'm adding 30 grams of Parmesan cheese that I've just grated up. Don't worry, there will be more later. And just stir this together. And that's it. My oven is preheating to 180 degrees Celsius. I'm just going to add 3 cups of vegetable stock here. You can use chicken stock as well, but I'm just keeping this recipe fully vegetarian. Now I'm just going to pop this in the oven, uncovered, at 180 degrees Celsius, and this could take anywhere from about 45 to 60 minutes. It depends on the brand of arborio rice that you've got. Every brand will be slightly different. I'm ready to put this in the oven now. So after about 20 to 25 minutes of baking, pull the pan out of the oven and give it a good stir, and then pop it back in the oven to finish baking. So it's taken about 50 minutes for my risotto to get cooked, and there's just a little bit of the stock water left, but you know how risotto rice is, it'll keep absorbing that water even while it's here in the pan. I'm just going to plate this one up. I'll give it a stir. You see how beautiful that is? You know, if that little leftover stock is bothering you, you can just pop this in the pan and cook off that extra stock. But take it from me, I've made this so many times. This teeny little bit of stock water will get absorbed as you're serving this. You should eat this as soon as it's ready. I'm gonna serve this up. Just a little sprinkling of pepper. Tiny garnish of thyme. A super impressive meal of risotto made without even constantly stirring it, so easily in the oven. Guys, you've got to try this for dinner. Hi guys, welcome to my recipe book with me, Tarika. So today I'm going to make a salad with very classic Mexican flavors. So guys, what should I start with? Chopping up the salad or making the dressing?
Dressing.
Dressing it is then. I'm going to start with some extra virgin olive oil, 2 tablespoons. And to this, I'm going to add some fresh coriander, which I will just chop up slightly finely. And about 3 cloves of garlic that are just finely minced. And now I'm going to add some dried oregano, just about 2 teaspoons of it. And about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now I'm using lemon juice, but if you can find lime juice, fresh lime juice, that will make all the difference. And then about 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin powder and some chili flakes. Just about 1/4 of a teaspoon, no more than that, because there's a lot of heat coming from the cumin and the coriander, so I don't want to add too much chili to it. And never without any salt. And now just give this dressing a nice whisk so that the flavors can really combine and meld together. And like all dressings, the longer it sits, the stronger the flavors get. So I'm just going to move on to chopping up the salad. I'm going to start with the lettuce. This is just about 200 grams of lettuce that I'm just going to roughly chop into bite-sized pieces. You know, it's very important to chop up the lettuce into bite-sized pieces because, you know, I'm pretty sure we've all been to restaurants where you've been served a salad and the lettuce is just too big and clumsy to eat. That's not a pretty picture. So don't do that when you're making salad at home. Just put it all in one bowl. Now I'm just going to add some tomatoes, and it's starting to look colorful already. Some corn that I've just charred slightly. I just feel that it gives it a deeper flavor, so I just like it slightly charred. And it's never a Mexican salad without some kidney beans. So I've got about 1/2 cup that's been boiled, and it's completely cooked, not raw. And now for the avocado. Every time you buy an avocado, and even though you kind of know how to feel your way through getting a ripe one, it's always a surprise when you cut it open. Now, do as I say and not as I do, because I should have probably got a bigger knife to do this, but I haven't. But I'm still managing to cut it open. And just scoop this out and add it to the salad. So this is not mushy ripe, it's just about ripe, which is fine. Okay, so the avocado is in the bowl as well, and now it's time for me to add this lovely dressing. Just add some of it and just toss the salad through. Always add the dressing in parts, just so that you've covered all of the salad and you don't have, you know, one patch which has more of the dressing than the other. And then sort of toss it through. You know, just as I'm tossing the salad, I've just remembered that I completely forgot to add the spring onion to it. But, you know, it's never too late. I'm just going to add it right now. Just snip some of this in and just continue tossing. So the salad is really well tossed through and I'm ready to serve it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And you know, this can accompany your dinner tonight if you're having sandwiches, if you're having pasta, It's a really hearty and filling accompaniment to anything that you decide to make for dinner. So guys, my Mexican salad is now ready, and I promise you, just one bite of this and you'll realize just how Indian the flavors are. Now, while you're busy making this Mexican salad, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and also share it with your friends. Be back here next week for more such recipes. See ya!
Hello and welcome to Masala Trails. Today we're making an authentic Malabari Muslim dish called Nair or ghee rice. To me, Nair symbolizes the grandeur of everything that is Malabari Muslim food. This is something that you'll find very often at wedding functions, Eid festivals, and just family get-togethers in Malabari Muslim households. In my house specifically, this was something that my mum would make when we had guests over. So to start with, take a thick bottomed pan. Add about 2 to 3 teaspoons of ghee or Indian margarine. To this, add 2 sticks of cardamom. I'm adding some cinnamon as well, and I'm adding some cloves as well. Once this is cooked, I'm adding, I've chopped ½ an inch of ginger. Just add that. I've got about 2 to 3 slit green chilies. Just add that as well. So to this I'm going to add about roughly, there are maybe 15-20 raisins. I'm going to leave a bit extra later for garnishing. To this we're adding some cashew nuts as well. I'm adding some whole, some broken. I'm going to leave a little bit extra for later. So as you can see, our raisins are beginning to puff up into like little golden balls. Now to this I'm going to add some onions. I've chopped in about 3 to 4 small onions. Okay, just let the onions sort of break. We're going to add some salt to this to just speed up the process of cooking the onions. Just give it a good mix. Okay, so our onions are sort of almost done. To this we're going to add some rice. The rice I'm using today is basmati, which is available pretty much anywhere in the world. In Kerala, however, we do not use such thin rice. We like to use a rice which is called Jirakshala rice, but which is only available in Kerala. Give it a good stir. This sort of helps the rice to separate when it's cooking, so you won't have like a sticky rice feeling to it. So just give it a good mix. Now to this I'm going to add, so for every portion of rice, add 2 portions of water. So I'm going to add 2 portions of water here. Okay, 1 more cup of water. Give it a really good mix, and now what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to lift it out of a high flame burner and put it on the lowest burner and just cover it up. It will take about a good 10 minutes to cook, so leave it on for 10 minutes but keep coming back and checking it every now and then. So my rice is done. I'm just going to switch it off right now. As you can see, because we've mixed it and stirred it a few times, it's like evenly spread across. I'm just going to take it out. So you remember we had kept out some raisins and cashew nuts to garnish, and that's exactly what we're going to do right now. I'm just taking a little garnish bowl. Take some ghee. Now because raisins and cashews have a different cooking time, we're going to do it separately. We're going to do the raisins first. So I'm just going to take out the raisins and put it on top of the rice, just the raisins and not the ghee. To the same ghee, I'm going to add some cashew nuts. So I'm just going to take out the cashews and put it on top of the rice as well. The best way to eat naichora is with a Kerala papad and some pickle on the side. But if that's hard to come by, you can also just fry some meat or just do a mutton fry or something like that and just add it to the side. You can also just eat it plain like I'm going to do now because I cannot resist this anymore. It is exactly how it's supposed to be.
Best ever thing you can ever have for a nice Sunday brunch is a nice, huge, thick chicken burger. And if you're going to add beer to it, wow, that's what I'm going to do, a nice, thick chicken burger. First of all, some garlic cloves. Again, the bin trick that I usually do. Here goes the garlic in. I'm going to add a bit of veggies to it. What that does is it gives it a nice crunch. So first I'm going to peel the carrot and keep on peeling it till I get strips like this, just like that, but making sure that the stem part is what I'm avoiding. Let's combine the strips. So nice and thin juliennes of carrot here. Once again, turn it laterally. So you don't want big chunks of carrot coming into your mouth when you're having a chicken burger, but the right size for the right crunch. Next is the celery. Let's take a couple of stems of celery. I'll have to slit it into the center to have thin dices of celery. So once again, julienne of celery. Celery into this now. Now is the time for a small onion into this. So onions into this. So I'm just going to put the chicken mince now in this, around 200 grams. So along with the fine mince of chicken, you really want nice bits of chicken coming into your mouth. So I've got some boneless chicken as well, which I'm going to dice fairly larger than the mince. So I've got a lot of things in here now. Next is one whole egg into this. Salt into this to season. Along with the salt goes in some freshly ground pepper. So a bit of mustard into this, and my favorite smoked barbecue and chicory sauce that just makes the burger slightly sweetish, slightly smoky, and just takes it to the next level. If you still prefer it slightly spicy, you can always add a bit of freshly chopped green or red chilies, depending on the spice content that you like. If you have a feeling that the mix is slightly moister than it would take to form a shape of a burger like this, the best thing to do is add a bit of breadcrumbs, because what breadcrumbs tend to do is they kind of absorb extra moisture in the meat, in the vegetables. So a bit of normal oil on this, and while that is heating up, I take a nice chunky good amount of the meat. If you think it's difficult to shape it into a burger, you can always use a round ring which you can tap through. But if you're making a nice and chunky rustic home style meat burger, you really don't need a ring. So a nice huge big thick patty is what I've got, which now I'm going to place here. Let it cook. So that's how my burger is, nice and thick, as I would call it in India, burger ka baap. A nice homemade crusty burger bun. Cut it into 2 half bits. Just make sure if you're cooking a thick burger like this one, your heat is on medium. It's not too high, because otherwise what's going to happen is the burger is going to get too much color on the outside. It's going to look extremely brown, but the inside might stay raw. In the meanwhile, I've got this pan heating up. Just a knob of butter to this. What's a burger without a nice juicy tomato? Even the tomato I'm slicing nice and thick. Just spread the butter all along the pan like this. This goes here, this is in here, and let's flip over the burger. So the burger is now getting seared on both sides. Now there's a special twist that I'm going to give the burger. At the start I said it's a beer burger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit beer to this. What it does is it's not only searing it, but the beer flavor is all getting incorporated into the burger, and the burger is cooking nicely, or rather poaching nicely in the beer. Lovely, keeps it more moist, more juicy, and hey, this is criminal, isn't it? I mean, I can just keep a beer just down like that without sipping it. It's Sunday, folks, so let this cook. What you could also do is, if you wish, you could cover it with a lid, let it just cook slightly, so all the steam inside is cooking it. What is missing is a nice Sunday salad for the side. Drop in some lettuce, some romaine, some iceberg, a very, very simple side salad to go along with the burger. Cherry tomatoes, a nice chiffonade of purple cabbage. Here, take the leaves out like this. So this also is ready on the side, avoiding the central core bit and just making sure that it doesn't have thick stems. So knock off the stems here, and now back into each other again and just roll it as tightly as possible. For the magic cut on it, like this, as thinly as possible, as if it's a machine cut. So this is how a gourmet burger, how a home style burger should be. Lovely dropped into this. My beer is almost gone there. What the beer also does is it keeps it moist and it glazes your burger. So let's put this off. Roughly chop parsley into this. Just bam. A little drizzle of olive oil. Just a bit of mustard. Some cracked pepper. Lemon juice. So just a little bit of toss. So the mustard, the olive oil, the lemon all nicely curl up, mix up through. I've got a bit of the barbecue sauce left with me. I'm going to mix some mayonnaise into that. Goes in for a nice extra punch of smoky barbecue mayo. So here we go, barbecue mayo on the base, a bit of the salad, a nice heap on top. Next with my burger. Look at that crazy guy, it's huge, isn't it? So tomatoes next, 3 to 4 slices of each. Cracked pepper on top. The top bit here, a small serving of the side salad that goes here. Just tell me guys, what could get better than this?